Welcome everyone to this knowledge series with ASHRAE. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Charlie Matthews, the founder and president, founder and CEO, however I'm talking about myself these days, with the Empowering Pumps and Equipment group. So welcome. Y'all just go ahead and introduce yourself. We'll start with Karen. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Karen Buckley Washington, and I'm the Public Relations Specialist for ASHRAE.
And I am Chuck Gullidge, the current ASHRAE Society President for the 2020-2021 Society year.
Awesome. Well, I have known about ASHRAE because I've been attending AHR, which is co-located most of the time. This year's a little different. We've experienced a lot of change, and one is postponing that. But I know you're doing some things with your COVID, resources and groups that you've got to put together. What's that been like going through COVID, like being a resource for people?
Well, let's just talk about the direct impact. It's put ASHRAE in a position of having to pivot to the realities of what's happening in the world. Co-location events have pretty much all ceased, at least minimized to the probably 95th percentile. The ability to convene people has been compromised. So that's affected a number of our normals, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
It really started off with our annual meeting back in June of 2020. We were supposed to be in Austin, Texas, and June is at the annual meeting. That's when we revolve out the outgoing president and bring the new president in. And we had to go virtual because we just could not convene thousands of people in a location and get them from around the world to the US. So that started our digital pivot, if you will, and we have pretty much been doing business virtually for the last 6, 7, 8. This really goes back into March and April, probably the last 9 months. Of consequence, you mentioned the AHR show, the expo, that was going to be in Chicago this year. It's there every 3 years. And we've had to cancel it outright. We were trying to find options to move it back, but this pandemic has just created such stress, and we just can't convene people. We can't get people here. We have limits put on by local policy that keep you from gathering large groups of people. The hotel infrastructure, the actual McCormick exhibit hall, we just couldn't bring people together. So we've had to cancel the show, and I don't know that that's ever been done since it started in the 1920 era. So, but we're pivoting to virtual with that.
And so you've done the virtual conference back in June where do you feel like that was successful with bringing people together? Do you, as we look forward to February, and y'all can tell me a little bit about the one coming up, what did you learn, and what do you think then the next one looks like as far as being productive of bringing people together?
It was highly successful. What we realized was we could actually bring more people together doing things smartly and bringing the virtual digital connection into play. We had higher attendance than we usually have at the annual meeting, so that was a positive. We had higher participation in technical committees and activities, and that is just tremendous. The programs we were able to offer were highly attended, so it was successful as far as increasing our connections and getting more people involved in the virtual room. Mm-hmm. The downside, though, is that face-to-face camaraderie, reading the temperature of the room and interaction with people, we miss that. And, we just can't do anything about that right now. But we have been able to pivot to a virtual means of maintaining the ASHRAE mission, and we're getting more people in the room, and that's a really good positive.
Well, I think that's a testament to your team too, and kind of getting that information out, getting people ready, and making sure that they know what's happening and how to be involved. Karen, can you add to that, kind of what it was like with PR and getting that information out there?
Well, as Chuck said, I mean, I think that we've done, a really phenomenal job of being able to bring, just our entire membership together, because with us being a global society, the opportunity to get in front of people in a digital environment really connected us on a level that we haven't been able to do in years past with other conferences. As Chuck said, ASHRAE is a family, so it's difficult not to be able to be there and get all the hugs and all the attention that you really appreciate about an ASHRAE conference. Nevertheless, I think that, the team really did an outstanding job of, really pivoting to this new normal that we're all in, and really providing, some great quality information. We're in an era where, building information and knowing how to create healthier environments is becoming top of mind through this pandemic. And by being able to provide this information in this digital format, I just think that, we've provided a great service to so many people across different industries. So it's been a great success.
Yeah. And you mentioned something. I kind of just jumped right in without telling people much about ASHRAE, like assuming that they know who you are, like I did. If people are wanting to kind of get involved with ASHRAE, what is the program? What is the organization, and how does it benefit them?
So let's start with explaining what ASHRAE stands for. It used to be called, before we just went with the name ASHRAE, the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers. And this is the genesis of technical societies in North America that started off in the arts and sciences of ventilation and air conditioning and refrigeration and heating. And we are at I guess you could say we're at our 126 year mark now. We just celebrated our 125 celebration last year. We have north of 53,000 members around the globe. Wow. 198 ASHRAE chapters around the world. I can't tell you how many student chapters we have at educational institutions around the world. We're a big family, and our focus is all about heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration, and ventilation. And this is our sweet spot, and this is what we focus on. We develop objective-based technical content to help practitioners and building owners and contractors understand how things are done, how they're supposed to work, how they're supposed to be installed. We help building owners. We develop standards that set the playing field level for, here's the benchmark, and this is objective reality.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you
big
too,
family
of COVID and heating and cooling, and just kind of being in the hospitals. I was talking with some people about that. I mean, this needs to be a controlled environment, even more so during that kind of respiratory issues that we were having, and training people on how and what to do in that situation. Did you have any new content in that realm that came out?
That's a great question. Infectious disease control is on the front of everybody's mind right now. And the whole building ecosystem now is looking at HVAC systems to understand their threat or asset in fighting this pandemic. Back in the spring of 2020, I think that's right, Karen, it was around March, we established what we call our Epidemic Task Force, and it was focused on speed to market, getting information to building owners, designers, contractors, everybody involved in this game with objective information on here's what's happening, here's why it's happening, and here are the things that need to be done to provide a mitigation response to try to fight this pandemic. And we set it up in such a way it wasn't just focused on the SARS-CoV-2 narrative. It was set up to be responsive to even what the next pandemic might be, because this is not going to be the last one we face. So we have been providing technical guidance, seminars, webinars, outreach to government entities to help with policy decisions. And there are over 100 people, ASHRAE members, working on this tirelessly, helping disseminate information for the world to understand here's what's going on and here's what you can do.
Yeah, I think it's so important that we mention that, because if you are in those spaces, you are contributing and there's people to help you. And I just keep hearing from you over and over kind of this family element and how we're, in this together and trying to figure these things out to set that standard and be prepared, which I think is definitely where y'all are helping out. I'm curious how you are, interacting together. I know, that you've got the new headquarters. How do you see that, or kind of getting back to, I know we all are like, when will we get back together? Hopeful for, I'm hopeful for June, but I was hopeful for last June too. So we'll see what happens. How do you see, and what is it like there for your headquarters?
Well, let's talk about the narrative of the fact that we actually have a new headquarters. We started a journey about 3 years ago where we were in need of moving our office purely for expansion and real estate issues. It was time for us to find a new place. And we went through a gyration of, do we build something new? Do we buy something existing? And we ended up going the buy existing path. And I tell you that for this reason. One of the other narratives that are part of the ASHRAE portfolio is energy efficiency and sustainability and green buildings. We all know how to design net zero buildings now. We have provided that guidance. It can be done. What we don't know how to do well is attack the existing building stock around the world and upgrade, renovate, convert that to be a net zero scenario. So we took the mission of, we're going to show the world how to take existing attic stock, renovate it, and turn it into net zero solutions. So the whole project is more than a real estate transaction. We are doing it as a demonstration project to show everybody how you can revitalize existing building stock. And that's where a lot of the predominant amount of our building energy comes, is these existing buildings that just aren't as good as what we can deliver right now. So we've moved in. We started moving in October of last year, and we're still going through our move-in commissioning things and making sure stuff works correctly. Our PV array is being designed right now, and they'll start installation on that very soon. When I was down there last week, Monday, you can see that we're starting to do the soil borings to get the loading for putting the outboard array stations in beyond what's going to be on the roof. And we're hoping by March, the full PV array is going to be in. So we took this existing building, repurposed it, modified it, and got the energy intensity down to a very low number, and Karen helped me with the metrics. I think it was around, get it down to 17 kBtu per square foot.
That is correct.
Which is an outstanding accomplishment. And now the PV is going to do the gap to get us to net zero. And that's going to be the story we tell. And it's got tremendous energy savings and sustainability. It's going to have a digital twin, which is actually part of the society theme this year. In that whole digital evolution, it's got building wellness components built into it. We can actually look at a dashboard on a computer monitor in the lobby and look at what the environmental quality aspects are of each space inside the building. So it's so very cool.
I'm blown away. I really am. I think it's, you're not just talking the talk, right? You're going to, show them how it's done. There's no more saying we can't do this. This is how we do it. And I think you'll have a lot of visitors once we get back in there wanting to see it, right?
Yes. And you captured the intent very well. It's
Awesome.
Not just talking it, it's doing it.
Yeah. And I think that we've learned a lot. We've learned so much in this time, but like getting in and understanding what our mission is and our values and then, making a strategic plan, having time. I think we travel so much and are go, that having a little bit of that calmness, not that we've taken a break, because we haven't. I don't know about you, but all I do know, it sounds like it. You just full speed ahead, right? So, a lot of these people that would be a part of your group and attending these conferences and things, they are essential workers. And that is where we need to go, like to tell that story, to show people. And I'm just so impressed. I was grinning the whole time you were telling that. Sustainability. I just, you can see this, the Ally, one of these ways. Ally named me one of the top voices this year for energy and sustainability. And I was like blown away and thankful, because that is what I stand for. So y'all just gave me another way to, tell people that there is a way that we can do this. And here's the resource, right? So, okay. So
well, we would like to get you in the facility when it's safe to travel.
Yes, I'm all in. That sounds wonderful.
And we'll
until then, we're going to give an opportunity for our conference attendees to get a little glimpse of what it's like in our technical tour that's going to be available during that conference week. So they're going to get an inside look on what we're talking about and how ASHRAE is truly walking the walk.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Then the conference coming up. How can people register, get involved? When, where? How do we do this?
Karen, I'll let you field that one.
Okay, well, your go-to source for all information about our 2021 virtual winter conference can be found at ashrae.org/2021 winter. So if you go there, you can find everything that you need, from technical programs to speakers to virtual events. We even have, our own resident rock band that's going to be playing at the end of the week. So there's a lot of excitement around the conference. And as Chuck mentioned, you're going to get a chance to get a glimpse of our new facility and just see how outstanding it is.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And it's going to be geared for the engineers who love the behind the scenes, what's behind the green curtain. It's going to have some really cool technical aspects to it.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So I'll include that in the, text with your video that goes out. And just, as we kind of close out, is there anything that you wanted to let everybody know that, just kind of came up as we were talking?
The name of the rock band is important. They're called the Psychrometrics.
I love it. I love it.
Engineers would enjoy that little tidbit. My takeaway on the whole year is an assessment of what we've pivoted to and what we're still able to do. This pandemic has not stopped ASHRAE from being ASHRAE. If anything, it's brought us closer together. Now, granted, we've missed the face-to-face encounters and seeing our friends, and as Karen so aptly put, having those hugs that we so much desire, but it has not stopped us. And if anything, it has brought us closer together and engaged more of us. And that's the fascinating thing. Call it the opportunity in the middle of the trouble. It's brought us together, and we have more people participating and doing things. And that is a strong statement.
Yes. And I think we're going to see the results of that when we do finally have an event where we can get in person with everyone. That energy is going to be phenomenal. But I'm looking forward to the conference virtually. This is what we are doing these days, and we can still better ourselves in our communities by joining in on these things. So I'll definitely share all that information with everybody. But thank y'all for being here. It's great to get to see you. I will let you know that in a couple of weeks we'll be producing the Empowering Pumps and Equipment digital magazine. There's a wonderful video that Charles put together and your team put together that'll be shared in there. And just, again, we'll link to all of this in our notes below. But thank you. I enjoyed talking with you, and I'm super excited to see the headquarters when we get to do that. All right. See you later. Thank you.
Thank you so much for asking us to be here.